yesterday from those people going in there, taking things off the shelves, running out with bottles of alcohol, food, anything that you can think of. And this parking lot here, just absolutely trashed. There is glass everywhere, trash everywhere. We hear people drive by or even walk, and you hear that crunch of breaking glass. Pretty scary situation for a lot of people out here tonight. We came down from Chambers in West Florissant, just down the road where the Walgreens sits at that corner. If you're familiar with the area, police there told me that people did get into that Walgreens, stole all kinds of prescription drugs, said it was hit pretty hard. The Family Dollar also in that complex where we were staged just before we went ahead and moved down here. They'd had West Florissant closed off completely for several hours, but literally about 20 minutes ago just reopened to that. All the news crews able to get in here and kind of assess the damage, see for ourselves. We were hearing from police officers who were literally at every intersection all over the place. And a couple things I heard Nick Zervos mention, just how tense some of those officers and just the climate out here is. When we approached, you pull up, it's completely dark outside. Those officers have their guns ready. They are on very high alert. Definitely a little bit tense. I actually saw someone walk up to them, hands up in the air, and kind of a very chilling image to see, but just speaks to how tense things still are out here. So we're going to get a little bit more information, continue checking in on this damage here at the Quick Trip. Again, you can see writing, spray paint all over the bricks, things about St. Louis County Police, all kinds of messages that just really, again, speaking to that anger and the scene out here, how tense it was. But Claire and Andre will be getting some more information and have another update for you in just a little bit. But for now, back to you.
All right, we'll continue our coverage. We'll talk also about the muggy conditions this morning and the fog across the area. It is patchy, doesn't seem to be a big problem right now in Alton, but we'll of course have the forecast for today and the rest of the week coming up on this Monday morning edition of News 4 This Morning.
Of the breaking news of the deadly Mike Brown shooting and the aftermath.
We have a number of crews covering every angle, and right now we're looking at our live pictures from our photojournalist Nick Zervos. Last time, Nick, we checked in with you, you were driving us through the Walmart and Sam's parking lot, and now you're out of the car showing us all the damage to Shoe Carnival.
That's right, Claire. Shoe Carnival is right here next to Sam's and Walmart, and you can see big double plate glass windows broken right here. Apparently, I talked to one of the managers here. They said a lot of shoes were taken, spewing all over the place. They're just cleaning up right now. They have most of the glass cleaned up, as you can see right here, and they're just trying to assess how much damage was done here to their store. And there's a Radio Shack just down this strip mall right here as I walk around the corner, and apparently the alarm is still going off up there, and I'm going to go hit up there to the Radio Shack next. They said that got hit pretty hard also.
Hey Nick, as far as you have been hearing, is it just property damage and theft at this point? Anyone hurt in any of these incidents?
No, nobody hurt here, but it's mostly property damage and theft. There you can see all the socks are spewing everywhere. I can see shoe boxes all over. They're just trying to clean this up as fast as they can and make things back to normal again. But no one was hurt right here. You can see this window is broken out right here also. This is a thick double plate glass windows. Wow. And I don't know why there's car batteries here, but that's what they threw in here, they tell me. They threw these car batteries right through the windows. Yeah. Yeah, so the nice people here allowing me to show you a few pictures of their store here. They did this is the cleanest store I've seen so far. Most people haven't even gotten this far yet as far as cleaning up, but these, they're just waiting for the people to come and board up this and replace the glass, and they're just trying to assess how much damage was really done here. You can see the cash drawers out. Look at that.
Wow.
Anyway, it's quite a mess over here in this area, this shopping area.
Nick Zervos showing us some dramatic images, and we'll be going to him all morning long, one of our several crews out there covering this huge story that has a lot of angles, and we even have one of our own angle, our own News 4 crew targeted in Ferguson. Take a look at the damage that was done to our own live truck last night. 2 of the windows were busted out. This is happening there, Canfield and West Florissant. Our crew had to run away for safety. Thankfully, no one got hurt there.
There may be another threat looming for people in the Ferguson area. It centers around a group called Anonymous that launches cyber attacks targeting U.S. government and large corporations. Anonymous has now created Operation Ferguson, encouraging the community to take to the streets.
We have to take ownership, and I'm not saying black or white, we as a community have to take ownership for this, and that is the reason why I'm out here, because I want to show my part.
Operation Ferguson tweeted last night that Anonymous will only launch cyber attacks in Ferguson in direct response to any police abuse of protesters. The group is also calling for local lawmakers to pay attention and to take action.
Okay, in the midst of this huge local and national, even international story, we also have to get to the weather of the day.
Okay.
And today's a day that we'll be in, what, the mid-80s?
Yeah, mid-80s for highs. It's kind of typical, a little bit on the muggy side, but I think mostly good news from the weather office this morning in regards to what we have to look forward to weather-wise this week. A few showers have shown up in the southern parts of the viewing area overnight and early this morning, moving out of Phelps County into Reynolds and eventually Iron County here. Nothing too heavy. You can see that activity moving off to the east. This stuff's out and it's not a problem. This is all false returns at the center of your screen. Big picture showing us really 2 stories. 1, the first front that's moved through, and we're still seeing some of the effects of that. 2, the second front, which is up to our north, that won't have a high impact on us rain-wise, although it could trigger a few showers or thunderstorms this afternoon. But it will help with some cooler, drier air that is going to move in, and we have some nice weather to look forward to for the bulk of this week. It's muggy and patchy fog out there this morning. Temperatures near 70 degrees, 72 in St. Louis, 67 in Warrenton, 68 in Carrollton, but 71 in Sparta, 72 in Farmington right now. So you can see that there's a temperature fluctuation from north to south. Also, you got a temperature gradient, I should say, and also a little bit of a drier air trying to move into the area, and I think you're going to like that. A few storms will pop up this afternoon. Not looking for a lot of rain. Again, the high in the mid-80s. You can see on the super predictor here, the stuff to the south stays to the south. The skies actually clear out a little bit, and as the second front pushes in, we've got a couple of spotty showers or thunderstorms with it. I do not look for a lot of rain this afternoon or this evening, and no rain in the forecast for tomorrow. Should be a pretty nice day. Maybe a few clouds occasionally, but we'll see this humidity drop off overnight tonight into Tuesday, and Wednesday it continues to dry out. So again, some pretty good air to look forward to here over the next few days. 85 with a few storms today, 81 tomorrow, and again on Wednesday. And again, lower humidity. You're going to like this. Thursday looks good at 84 degrees. We'll get back to a rain chance with the next system on Friday and Saturday of this week. But I would say 3 or 4 good days this week with comfortable weather.
All right. We're taking as much positive news as we can get this morning. Kent, thank you. Now, before the commercial break, I want to show you more live pictures. This time, Nick Zervos is at the Radio Shack, which is right next to the shoe carnival he was just telling us about on West Florissant. Look at this damage. Look at all of the glass, basically a whole door and window on the ground there. Nick is literally walking us through all the damage, cell phone covers, cell phones, everything just strewn on the floor. Unbelievable mess out there. A lot of looters, a lot of riots overnight in Ferguson. A huge story, a lot going on while you were sleeping. We will pick up our team coverage of what is happening in Ferguson after the break. Stay with us. 4:54. Welcome back to News 4 this morning on a Monday morning, looking live here at the old courthouse, downtown St. Louis. 72 degrees, a mild start to the day. We'll climb into the 80s, and not a bad day overall for kiddos. A lot of kids heading back to school today, including the St. Louis Public School District. So very typical August day ahead.
What are you seeing? You said you're scared. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing people doing stuff like breaking into stores and stuff and just doing bad stuff.
What stores did they break into?
Quick Trip.
What did they take out? Did you see them run out with anything?
Everything. everything. They destroy everything.
You're saying that people are getting disruptive. What was happening?
Well, you know, it's not the family, because I'm part of the family. But the people up there started throwing bottles. They caused the police to come down here. It was supposed to be peaceful. That's not peaceful, throwing bottles and beer cans and stuff like that.
Now, all of the looting, all of the rioting, we have been tracking for you overnight following a deadly police-involved shooting over the weekend.
18-year-old Mike Brown, you see here in this picture, shot and killed by a police officer in Ferguson Saturday afternoon. Now, St. Louis County Police are investigating, trying to figure out what started this and what led to that deadly shooting. News 4 spoke with his mother shortly after he died.
You took my son away from me. You know how hard it was for me to get him to stay in school and graduate? You know how many black men graduate? Not many. Because you bring them down to this type of level where they feel like I don't got nothing to live for anyway. They're going to try to take me out anyway. They wonder.
Grieving mother overwhelmed with emotion. More live team coverage now with Mike Colombo live in Ferguson. Mike.
Yeah, Andre, you hear the calls for peace there, the frustration coming from that family member. And here you can see that these looters overnight did not take those words to heart. You can see the broken glass and the merchandise that is just thrown all throughout this store. We showed you that video earlier this morning of the people just running out of here with arms full of shoe boxes. If you take a look at the ground surrounding this store, you can see the empty shoe boxes. People in many cases just piling as much as they could in cars to get away. We also showed video of the police officers walking into this store with guns drawn, actually catching several people in the act. We are unclear at this point exactly how many people were taken into custody by police, but there were several people coming in and out of here. We also showed you that video of many of the other locations. I'm hearing as many as a dozen, possibly more than that, targeted by looters overnight. Still unclear what they got away with, but the damage is evident right here. Broken glass. We can't tell exactly what they used to break this window, but there is some blood here on some of the merchandise to just show you that people were climbing in, not worried about getting cut, just worried about getting as much as they could. Again, all of this certainly not what we would want to see come from this incident that took place on Saturday. We've been talking all morning long about what was supposed to be peaceful demonstrations yesterday turning violent in the evening and overnight. We are going to continue to stay out here at the Hibbett Sports off New Halls Ferry and bring you live reports all morning long and continue to also show you those pictures from overnight. And when you see them, if you've yet to see them, they will be shocking. Claire Andre, back to you.
You're right about that, Mike. A lot of angles, a lot of perspectives, and News 4 is committed to covering every angle. And new this morning, St. Louis police are investigating several shootings happening last night. A 12-year-old boy is in the hospital after being shot in South City. It happened just before 10 p.m. at California and Cherokee. Police tell us a man and the boy were both shot in the back. The man is listed in critical condition. The boy is in serious but stable. Police have no suspects at this time.
Less than an hour after that incident, a 43-year-old man shot in the 3600 block of Salina. That's about 10 blocks east of the first shooting scene, also in South St. Louis. The victim suffered several gunshot wounds to the torso. We have learned he's been upgraded from critical to stable condition.
And police are investigating a third shooting in North St. Louis. A man was shot in the 3900 block of North Florissant last night around 9:30. No word on his condition.
Happening today, students across St. Louis will be heading back to school, and some will be learning in a familiar building that hasn't had kids in it for several years now. We are looking at video of Carver School. The Midtown pre-K through 4th grade school sits on Bell Avenue. Instead of continuing to lease the building for students in this area, SLPS renovated and reopened the building when the Imagine Charter Schools closed.
Also new this year for St. Louis public students, every child now qualifies for free breakfast and lunch. According to district officials, 90% of the students qualify for the program, and due to that high percentage, no child will be turned away.
The St. Louis Crisis Nursery is getting a big donation thanks to the local community, to all of you, and to News 4. Last week, Sharon Reed, Jasmine Huda, Mike Colombo, Megan Danahay, and I were among more than 100 celebrity waiters and waitresses at the 24th annual fundraiser for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. It's a wonderful organization. It's dedicated to preventing child abuse and neglect, and it provides 24-hour emergency intervention. We've learned our efforts all together have raised more than $87,000 for the organization, again, all to help children.
What a worthy cause. Those children need it. We have much more live team coverage of the breaking news we're following from overnight in Ferguson.
We've had news crews out all night long while you were sleeping, capturing scenes like this. Look at this. Groups of people rioting, throwing things at police officers, looting in Ferguson. Our live team coverage continues.
I got shot at last night. That is what one county officer just told another county officer. I have updates on the number of arrests made. I'll bring them all to you live right here on News 4 this morning.
Live from KMOV, News 4 is covering breaking news.
Good Monday morning to all of you. I'm Claire Kellett.
And I'm Andre Hepkins. It's August 11th. We are covering the live team coverage of the breaking news we've been covering all night, overnight in Ferguson. We've had news crews out all night long capturing scenes like these, groups of people rioting and looting in Ferguson. We have live team coverage and we begin.
We've been seeing images like these while you were sleeping. Groups of people gathering in the streets in Ferguson, sometimes getting violent, as you see them just a few seconds ago trying to kick at a police car, others throwing things at police cars.
And take a look at this huge group here chanting at police not to shoot them. You see many of them holding up their hands. All of this in outrage following a candlelight service held for this young man. 18-year-old Mike Brown shot and killed by a police officer in Ferguson Saturday. Now St. Louis County Police are investigating, trying to figure out all the events that led up to the shooting. We begin with our live team coverage now with Mike Colombo in Ferguson. Mike.
Yeah, Andre, we are live at the Hibbett Sports off New Halls Ferry, and you can see the aftermath behind me here. Looters breaking out the front window to the store, running inside and taking whatever they could. Take a look at the video from overnight. You're going to be able to see men just running in. You lose sight of them, and then they come out minutes later with their arms full of shoe boxes. We've got several different instances of that happening here, as you are about to see. Notice how many boxes of shoes that they were able to run out with, and notice just the lack of care that they have in coming in. They run in, they take a look around, they head right to what they want to, grab what they can, and rush out. In a few moments here, you're going to be able to see two police officers in white shirts enter with their guns drawn. They catch several people in the act. We're going to wait and show you that video, and please let me know as that plays. You can see them then ask a couple of those people to get on the ground. As you're looking at on your screen right now, we understand that those people were taken into custody, but for every person or two that police were able to apprehend, there were several others who got out with a lot of loot. And this morning, back out here live, you can still see many of the shoe boxes that are out here in the parking lot. It was one of those situations that people were able to just grab whatever they could, leave the rest, and try to get away without getting caught. Again, this is not the situation that anyone in this community would have liked to have seen following the events that took place on Saturday afternoon, but it's what police from both Ferguson, St. Louis County, and many other municipalities are dealing with this morning. The hope is that peace, which we are experiencing here at this location right now, can continue, but as you've been seeing all morning long, it's a story that we will continue to follow from all of these different angles with all of these different storylines. Andre, Claire, back to you.
You're right about that, Mike. We hope that everyone continues to listen to the calls for calm. Thank you.
Now we're going to send things to our Laura Hediger, who is positioned right near authorities in their staging areas, working to get more information and new information throughout the morning. And Laura, we understand you just heard a rather eye-opening statement from a St. Louis County police officer.
I did, Claire and Andre, and actually, in fact, I'm joined right now by Officer Brian Shellman, and just about 10 minutes ago, he said he was talking to one of his colleagues, and he actually told you that he was shot at last night. What do you think when you hear that?
Yeah, it's scary. It's part of the job. We know that when we sign up and when we partake in this career. excuse me, but that is that was a good friend of mine, and yeah, he kind of just looked at me and said, I got shot at last night. And you come to the realization that this is for real. And our helicopter got shot at least once, we think probably 2 or 3 times. And there was probably many other police officers who were shot at, and just luckily for us, nobody was seriously injured.
And that was my next question. With the injuries, we do know that 2 officers were injured. It sounds like at least 1 from your department.
That's correct, and I'm not sure the other may have been from our department. Minor injuries, was hit with a brick, but there was many of these guys. I was talking to some of our tactical operations members, and they said that immediately when they got out of the Bearcat behind us, there were bottles, rocks, bricks being thrown at them. So, and a lot of them were hit, and they just, luckily weren't injured.
But you guys have made headway. As of right now, it looks like 32 people from overnight have been arrested.
That's correct. That's the number that we have right now, is 32.
And what type of charges would these people be facing?
A little premature for me to say that. I mean, I guess it could range anywhere from burglary to larcenies. I'm sure that there's more, but we'll visit that as the day goes on.
We talked earlier about businesses and homes being targeted. Have you gotten any calls for houses?
We have not as of this point. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, but we have not been notified of any homes.
We know that you guys are leading the investigation into the shooting death of Mike Brown. Do you have any updates on that you can pass along right now?
Oh, we really don't. And, I may this morning after I leave this scene here and I'm able to get to headquarters and speak with our detectives and the chief of police. And we'll see, where that investigation lies. But as of right now, I do not.
We've heard a variety of words to describe overnight: chaotic, stressful, tense. Any other adjectives you'd like to throw out?
No, because again, I was not here, and I don't want to act like I was, because I love the guys behind me and the job that they do every day. And 300 police officers. I wasn't one of them that was on the ground, because my job is to relay exactly what they did, and they did an outstanding job. So I don't want to give you an adjective, because I wasn't here.
And my final question: what are you guys going to do from here on out? It looks like a couple of officers might be leaving.
Yeah, I think that a couple of us are going home, but there's also many of the cars that you see leaving are just going to patrol the area. We'll sit down, our commanders, we'll sit down with commanders from Ferguson and I'm sure other jurisdictions, and figure out exactly how they want to deal with this, hoping that it doesn't happen again, but come up with a plan that if it does, how can we better prepare? I think that we did a really, really good job last night, again, because nobody was seriously injured, and that's the bottom line for us, is that our police officers go home safe. But we'll definitely revisit those things.
Officer Shellman, thank you so much for joining us live on News 4 this morning. We appreciate it. Again, we'll be out here all morning bringing you the latest on the investigation and what all the officers you're seeing behind me will be doing this morning. Claire and Andre, let's send it back to you.
All right. Eye-opening interview there with the St. Louis County Police Department. Laura, thank you for the latest from your perspective.
St. Louis County Police Department not reporting any serious injuries. We're glad to hear that, but we do know of a lot of property damage in the area. And we have several crews covering that angle. Right now we have photojournalist Nick Zervos covering some of the looting.
Yeah, check this out, Andre. A big old hole in a Radio Shack right here. This is the Radio Shack I was telling you about when we were at Shoe Carnival. And you see everything spewing about over here. There's a camera, a brand new camera in a box right there. Trash cans everywhere. Big plate glass windows just kicked in and broken in by trash cans. And you could see all the looting that happened in here. There were RC vehicles right there, all gone. Everything is just torn apart. Every cabinet, every shelf. There's not much left here. The only thing they left on the walls are like cables and stuff like that. But everything of value is still, is just all gone right now. And you can still hear the alarm going off in here. It's chirping. But the police are driving through the lot and making sure everything's okay right now, like Laura said. But check out this brand new camera right here in the box. Someone just dropped it. And here's some shoes from Shoe Carnival that we found in the parking lot over here. And there's just stuff all over the lot, just spewing around. And check out this. This is a security camera, so I would love to see the video that came out of that last night. It must be quite a sight to see. Back to you guys.
Well, Nick, for people who aren't familiar with the strip mall we're at, there's the Radio Shack there, there's a Shoe Carnival. You were also showing us earlier Walmart and Sam's, quite a mess in front of those stores as well, and this is all on West Florissant.
That's correct. It's on Northwest Florissant, just south of 270, and There's a lot of traffic in this mall. I've been here before. There's it's a nice mall, strip mall, and a lot of people do a lot of shopping here. But because of what the people did here last night, I don't know if a lot of these, especially the mom and pop stores, I don't know if they'll stick around here anymore. It's it's very expensive when stuff like this happens to your store, and I just don't know what you do. I mean, I can't imagine what it would be like to have to repair all this and fix it.
And Nick, you've shown us the inside.
Damages, I'm sure.
Nick, you've showed us the inside of several stores right there. Can you estimate how many stores are seeing this type of damage right now?
Well, let me show you right now. That's the Radio Shack. I was down at the Shoe Carnival, and right here is an AT&T store, and he said he was the lightest one hit, and he's still cleaning up his mess right here. Let me show you. This is the AT&T store. It's funny. His sign says open, but he's picking up glass. He was telling me that a lot of his expensive stuff, his phones and stuff, were kept in safes overnight. So there was just minimal damage here. Broken glass on the door, and he's just cleaning up the mess. And it doesn't look like they took very much stuff off the shelves at all. But
Nick, from your conversations with him as well as the employees at Shoe Carnival, I'm curious what their reaction is. Did they come to their stores because they knew that this was happening? Did somebody call them? I mean, what were they feeling? What were they thinking?
Well, let's ask. I don't mean to put you on the spot, sir. Excuse me, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what is your name, first of all?
Darren Gale.
And you're the manager here, right?
Yes.
Did you find out about this on the news last night, or was your alarm going off?
My alarm company called.
Yeah. And what did you find when you got here? What was it like?
You see the glass. It was just the glass.
Well, what were you thinking, though? I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's nonsense, basically, is what it is.
Yeah. Well, there it is. It's all nonsense, and I tend to agree with that right now, because when you see just the damage and the carnage that happened just in this mall alone, and it's been up and down, Florissant Avenue, West Florissant Avenue. It's just a mess. None of these stores will be open today. I doubt it. I mean, the Quick Trip is burned out completely. I mean, it's just nuts.
Lots of property damage.
See.
Nick, thank you for showing us all that property damage. We'll be going back to Nick Zervos all morning long, one of several crews covering this very important and huge story that has so many angles to it. It's just hard to wrap your head around everything that's happened overnight and in the past 2 days.
No doubt. All right, now we're going to change gears a bit. We know a lot of you curious what the weather will be like on this Monday. We're going to send things over to meteorologist Kent Earhart.
Well, you can see a little bit of the haze and fog in this shot of the Clark Bridge in Alton, of course, and a familiar scene for us in the mornings here on News 4. And again, a little patchy fog around in spots this morning. Nothing in the way of rain in the metro area. Down to the south, a few showers linger as they move into parts of Reynolds County, southern Crawford perhaps, but this is light stuff. I think that's pretty much not going to be an issue for you this morning. We've got two fronts at work here. First one's the one that's generating the rain that we're seeing. Second one's yet to move through. It could generate a couple of showers or thunderstorms by this afternoon, but it's not going to be much, I don't think. We're looking at temperatures near 70 for the most part, 72 degrees in St. Louis, 68 to the north in Carrollton and Troy, 70 in Farmington and Potosi. So a little bit of a temperature gradient from north to south. Muggy with patchy fog this morning, some spotty rain to the south. You saw that on the radar. The winds are out of the northwest at 5 miles per hour. We are going to see a muggy and a warm day today, but overall, as these fronts push in, they're going to bring some drier and cooler air into the area that I think you're going to enjoy for the bulk of the week. We'll talk more about that. Look at the super predictor coming up in my next report.
Okay, now we're going to check in with Alyssa Reitmeyer as she looks at traffic 270 in West Florissant.
Yeah, Claire, and we know the major closure that we dealt with all of the activity up in Ferguson was on West Florissant Road. That has since completely reopened, so that's the good news there. And here's a look at the interstate right near West Florissant. Eastbound and westbound continuing to look good. A quick look at those speeds for you, about 60 miles per hour. Same case down to the south, 270 right at 44, about 60 miles per hour in all directions. And here's a look, 44 just to the east of Lindbergh. No major slowdowns, but I'm going to continue to look at these cameras along 44, watching out for any fog, and I'll have more coming up in my next report. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Alyssa. Much more live team coverage of this breaking news we've been following all night long.
We've seen rioting, looting, police making several arrests.
We are standing here live in front of an absolutely charred Quick Trip here on West Florissant Road, and take a look at this. the ATM that was dragged right out of it, the keyboard, receipt paper, an absolute mess. We'll have a live report for you coming up after the break.
Now, Andre Hepkins, Claire Kellett, meteorologist Kent Earhart, and traffic with Alyssa Reitmeyer and Captain Roger Brand. This is News 4 This Morning.
Welcome back to News 4 This Morning. We are covering breaking news all morning long, the deadly shooting of Mike Brown and the looting and the other aftermath. We'll get back to that. Quick note on the weather as we take a live look at Lambert Airport. 72 degrees in downtown St. Louis right now, a high of 85 expected today. We'll check in with Kent in just a bit. But right now, more new video to show you from overnight out of Ferguson. Crowds of people breaking into stores along West Florissant overnight. This is video we captured of looters at Hibbett Sports and Kmart.
We also got these images from right outside the Family Dollar store in Ferguson. Take a look here. The state SWAT team arriving, police officers taking several people into custody.
And we have several crews covering every angle of this story. And right now we're going to go to Emily Rao live in front of a burnt out Quick Trip. Man.
That's right, Andre. You can see behind me here, it is still smoking from the top of that building. You see the twisted metal that was once the awning completely burned out in there. There is graffiti all over the brick walls. The only thing really left standing inside that structure. Absolutely a total mess here. We actually have some video of when this Quick Trip was set on fire. We'll show you some of that. I talked to a witness who was here for all of it. He said it was about an hour after the official looting started inside the store, but then people came back, set it on fire. Neighbors here standing watching as part of their neighborhood literally burning up. Absolute chaos at that point. Here on the parking lot, you walk along, you hear crunching broken glass. The street, West Florissant Road, completely covered with shattered and broken glass. Really a mess. We'll also show you a little bit more of that Quick Trip video from kind of the aftermath last night, but nothing has been touched. We were just allowed in here about an hour ago when police reopened the roadway. And take a look at this. Sitting on the parking lot here, the ATM that is presumably from inside the Quick Trip here, the U.S. Bank ATM. I talked to people who, again, were here last night when all of this was happening. They say people were throwing rocks at this. They were dragging it out, trying to get into it. Our understanding is that the safe maybe is possibly down here, so it doesn't look like it's completely cracked open or anything, but over here you see totally damaged the computer area. There's a keyboard, you've got receipt paper. A total mess, and really just speaks to how heated these people were, trying to just do anything they can. These things are bolted to the ground, so quite the effort to get that out of the Quick Trip, but very an interesting scene here. When we first arrived this morning, still a heavy police presence. We've seen police driving around now, but they're not staged as much as they once were earlier through the night. When we spoke to them, still very tense, very particular about where we could go, about our safety, about their own safety. So really quite the scene that has unfolded overnight. Right now, though, it's pretty calm, all things considered, but we'll be checking in with people talking